Episode of Distractify Live, your daily dose of useful distractions. Today we are here with professional bridesmaid and author, Jen Glantz.
Yeah.
Jen.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So, a professional bridesmaid.
Yes.
How does one earn that title?
Ooh, it was a total accident. I posted an ad on Craigslist after I had been a bridesmaid for my friends so many times that I wanted to see if I could turn this into a business. So
How many times is so many times?
I think almost a dozen. I was broke. I spent all my money on bachelorette parties and bridesmaid dresses that I was never going to wear again. So I thought, how do I make my money back? How do I turn this into a business?
And so how did you get started?
Posted the ad on Craigslist, didn't think anyone was going to read it. I shut my computer, and the next thing I know, it went completely viral. And from there, I decided to start a business. I was a poetry major, so I had no business experience. I started this from scratch. I made every mistake, and it worked.
So tell us a little bit about the Craigslist ad that launched you into fame.
So I had a terrible Friday night, like most great stories start off with, and I went home. I wrote this ad about how I would help you pee in your wedding dress because wedding dress peeing is really hard.
Okay.
I wrote about how I would dance with your drunk uncle because there's always one of those. And I wrote about how I would do all of those dirty tasks that your bridesmaids are often too busy to do, too drunk to do, or simply just don't want to do.
And so the emails poured in.
They poured in.
And you selected your first candidate.
Yeah.
And tell us about the very first experience.
So my first bride, her name was Ashley from Minnesota, and she had just fired her maid of honor about a month before hiring me.
You're fired.
You're out of here. So she fired her, she hired me. I flew to Minnesota and I stood in her wedding, and that was the first opportunity I had to see if my business concept was going to work. And I was so nervous. I was a bodyguard for the bride because she thought her ex-maid of honor was going to show up and crash the wedding.
Amazing.
So the whole night I was looking to the door and I was getting ready to throw down if I had to, and it was a really awesome first experience.
So before this, you mentioned that you were a writer.
I am,
And
yes.
you are a writer.
I still am.
Did that prepare you in any way for this new adventure?
Oh, it does. I have to give maid of honor speeches for brides I've never met before. So oftentimes that requires a lot of pre-writing work and interviewing them and creating a story with them as to how we know each other so I can deliver a kick-ass speech.
So tell us a little bit about your web project that you started before this came about.
So I started a blog called The Things I Learned From about 6 years ago. I had graduated from college. I had zero idea what to do with my life. All my friends were slowly getting engaged, and I was living in my parents' house. So I started this project so I can write about what was happening in my life. And from there, it turned into some pretty awesome things.
That's awesome. If you have questions for Jen, as always, drop them in the Facebook chat. It looks like one coming in.
Woo.
Faithful and trusty Michael is behind the camera
Go,
again.
Michael!
Michael, what is our first question?
Brandy wants to know what the ugliest dressed wants to know what your ugliest dress was.
Oh, goodness.
Your
There's been a
ugliest
lot.
dress.
There's been a lot. I had one that looked like it belonged in an 80s prom or a bad 80s movie. I had one that was an eggplant color, and there were more layers on it than a shower curtain or bedsheet. It was just pouring out layers. It was so ugly. You couldn't even see me in it because it was just everywhere.
So what the hell do you do with all these dresses after the weddings are done?
Okay, it's really embarrassing, but I keep all of my dresses. I kind of hold on to them. I stuff them under my bed or in my closet in my New York apartment, and I just think about them. I mean, you're never going to wear them again. It's such a lie if anyone ever tells you differently.
Have you ever been to Galatois in New Orleans? They have all these dresses on
Yes.
display. So if you ever hit it big and want to go museum route or
Yeah.
restaurant route, you can showcase all
Or
the
if you
dresses.
just want to come to my apartment, you'll see they're all just kind of rolled up into balls and just they're hideous, but they're my treasures. They're what brings
They're
me
your
back
treasures.
to this job.
What are the duties of a professional bridesmaid?
Sure. So I take care of all of the dirty work. I'm there before the wedding. I like to say, simply put, I'm your on-call therapist. I'm
Okay.
your personal assistant, your social director, your peacekeeper, but above anything else, I am their human Xanax because everybody goes crazy. The bridesmaid's the bride, the
Human
mothers of the bride.
Xanax on the show.
So that's what I am, the human Xanax.
That's amazing. So how many weddings have you been to?
Goodness, I worked with over 40 brides last year, so a lot of times I was going to 2 weddings in one weekend. I work with brides virtually, so at any given time I'm working with 30 or 40 people.
That's insane. Do you ever turn down business?
I do. I've turned down business. I've been fired from business. That's just how business works. No one's perfect.
Sure. So how does the business model work?
Great. So I have a couple different packages, everything from virtual bridesmaid, where we work together virtually, to being behind the scenes at your wedding, to being up at the altar. Either way, I do get paid for this.
Okay.
And if I do go to your wedding, they pay for the dress, they pay for my flight, my hotel, and everything, plus the package.
Personal question, what's the most you charge for all of your services?
Sure. I once did a 4-day wedding, and I charged close to $4,000 for it.
Not bad. If you ever need a plus one, I'm your guy.
Always.
All right. So how do you find your clients?
A lot of social media, a lot of word of mouth, doing interviews. People really flocked to this idea because it's new, it's interesting, it's different, and nobody else in the world is doing it. So it's a lot of just word of mouth and people chatting about it.
So what is the standard protocol to sort of get up to speed on your clients? Because I assume if you're working with 40 people, storylines, plots might twist in your head a bit, and you need to keep everything organized so you're saying the right thing for the right people at the right time.
I use Google Docs, and everyone has their own Google Doc, and I work with brides anywhere from a year before their wedding to 3 months before their wedding, and I chronicle all the details I've learned about you. And from there, we develop a story. I write everything down. Before I come to your wedding, I'm studying like crazy on that airplane, making sure that I know whose wedding I'm at and what I'm going to say.
Have you ever botched anything?
I haven't, but I had 2 weddings in one weekend where when I was giving a speech, I was like, please say Sarah, and not Megan, you know? And you always cross your fingers you don't mess up.
Another fan question coming in, Michael.
Jack wants to know what's the most awkward moment, if any, you have ever experienced.
Oh, awkward moments are my thing. I once had a mother of the bride who forgot a strapless bra, so I took off my strapless bra, gave it to her, and I duct taped my chest together. And that was pretty awkward because I was braless. Professional bridesmaid braless. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy, what is the craziest or wildest wedding you've been to?
Oh, God. I did a wedding in Nevada in an open field, and as I was walking down the aisle, I noticed there were animal droppings along the field and the aisle, and I decided that I didn't want the bride to drag her beautiful white dress down it, so I grabbed the animal poop with my hands, and I moved it to the side, and it was disgusting. I still have nightmares about this, but you do what you have to do on the job.
Any other, like, over-the-top, like, super glamorous weddings?
I've done weddings that were $200,000 weddings, and I'm thinking to myself, where do these people get this kind of money? I think that weddings can be crazy expensive, and it's so stupid that they're that expensive, because in the end, you lose the true focus of a wedding, which is the love. And when it's so expensive and so extravagant, it's like, what's the point? Why are you doing this?
Right, what about on the other side, the really shitty cheap ones?
I've done those are my favorite. The shitty cheap ones are my favorite.
What about cash bar?
It's people paying for their wedding, and sometimes they need their guests to
You're getting married, no cash bar.
You could do a cash bar. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, maybe have like some cheap vodka on the side for people who don't have any dollar bills.
So tell us about one of your favorite cheap weddings.
I did a cheap wedding for a bride where everything was DIY. I helped her figure out how to be her own DJ, her own photographer. She had GoPros and cameras inside of her bouquet videoing the whole thing. She had her iPod hooked up to speakers. So I work with a lot of brides who don't have extravagant budgets but want to pull off their dream wedding, and I think that that is the most awesome way to go.
I'm into that.
Yeah, me too.
So a lot of these experiences across all these weddings, across all these brides, led to your first book.
Yeah, so the first book, All My Friends Are Engaged, I wrote about 3 years ago when all of my friends were getting married and I was going on one Tinder date after another. And it just talks about all of my different dating stories. But I have a new book coming out in 2017 called Always a Bridesmaid for Hire. And that book is about all of my crazy weird experiences as a hired bridesmaid.
So is that something that you'd recommend to brides in preparation for their weddings?
Definitely.
Or this beach reading? Or
Oh, it is beach reading. It is for brides, bridesmaids, guys who just want to know what it's like to be a bridesmaid or a girl in this crazy situation. It's literally for everyone. Even mother of the brides, too, who just need to be calmed down a little and have their expectations lowered for how the wedding's actually going to be, which is never perfect.
Good to know.
Yes.
I'll take a copy for
Yes.
mine.
Oh, for sure. February 2017.
Oh, it won't be in time
Little
for my
time.
sister's wedding. Shout out to her. So what's next for the business? Like, can you scale this thing? Like,
Yeah.
are there going to be more bridesmaids in your
Posse?
In your posse?
Sure. I've had over 9,000 women apply to work for me as a professional bridesmaid. I've hired 5, looking to hire more, hoping to scale it that way. Also teaching a lot of virtual classes for women who want to learn how to start their own business. And even if it's in the wedding industry or another industry, I want to empower women to do what they want to do, even if it's a crazy, crazy, crazy idea.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is.
What happens if and when you get married?
Yeah, I hope to get married, and I can still be a bridesmaid who's married, but eventually I want to kind of phase myself out of being the actual bridesmaid at a wedding, and that's why I'll have really cool employees to take my place.
You can just go to the really good ones.
Oh yeah, or just have them come to mine and eat pizza. That's all I want at my wedding.
Just pizza.
Just pizza.
Basic.
Totally basic.
No, hold on. We got to get up and show her your
All right, fine.
show
I was
the
hoping
shoes.
you wouldn't ask, but if you do.
You got to
Sorry.
get up. Michael's going to come around and
legs
show
are not
you
really
these shoes.
shaven. I was hoping you guys wouldn't ask, but they say not basic, but they're also glittery. It's a little ironic, I guess.
Not like my shoes.
What are your shoes?
Mine are sort of basic.
Okay, yours are truly basic.
I know.
They're like sneakers. You
Yeah.
could have gone with the glitter route. You live and you learn.
I live and I learn. So are there any other entrepreneurial undertakings that you're thinking about that are not so basic?
Sure. So I love to disrupt the wedding industry. I personally hate weddings. I think they're awful. So I want to get people to level set what they want from a wedding and try to disrupt the whole industry if possible.
Isn't that sort of like a cook that doesn't like to eat?
I mean, I think so, but this is so different because I've just watched people hate their own wedding, and I don't want brides to feel like that, and I understand why they hate it, and I want to help them through that.
Well, don't hate your wedding. What's a tip to not hate your wedding?
Just don't get wrapped up in all of these crazy details, and do not listen to anybody else. Plan the wedding that you want and not what your mother wants or what your best friend wants. Just do what you want to do.
Mom, if you're watching, I did not tell her to say that. As always, more fan questions if we got them. Otherwise, we will go into rapid fire.
Oh no.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Best wedding tip.
Best wedding tip is set a budget and stick to it. If not, you'll be crawling into Bank of America begging them for money. So set a budget, stick to it, and try not to go over what you can't afford.
Best wedding or biggest wedding pet peeve.
Biggest wedding pet peeve is when a bride does not enjoy her own wedding because she is too wrapped up in what's going wrong and what's not happening right. So instead, be present at your own wedding, open your eyes, enjoy yourself. You're paying so much money, your best friends and family are there, just have a good time.
Local weddings or destination weddings?
I think it should be whatever you want to do. Go far if you want, stay local if you want to.
Here's one from me.
Yeah.
Buy or sell seated dinners at weddings.
Mm-hmm. I think that you shouldn't do a seated dinner. I think it should be super casual, have different kinds of food, and have people pick as they want. If not, the whole flow of your wedding is messed up. No one likes to dance and sit and dance and sit. You want to eat and mingle and dance. It's awkward to have a sit-down dinner,
Yeah, I think we
should
kill the dance and sit.
Oh, I think we should just do all dance with finger foods around the aisle and the reception.
And no cash bar.
You have to do cash bar. It's not the end of the world.
Celebrity crush.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal, I hope you're watching.
Business crush.
Oh my god, my business crush is actually my 86-year-old business tutor who's probably not watching.
86-year-old business what?
Tutor.
Oh, tutor.
Yeah, he helps me figure out business things because I'm a poetry major and he's changed my life.
Is he on Snapchat?
I don't think so. He has like one of those tiny phones with all of the buttons still on it that he presses really slow. So I don't think you're watching, but if you are, I love you.
I don't.
You might.
I'm just kidding. I love you too. What about your best tip for entrepreneurs?
For entrepreneurs, start right now. If you have an idea in your head, don't try to plan it out. Don't try to write a business model. Don't sit there and just go with it right now. Seriously, start right now. Do every step you can and just don't ever give up. You are that close from making your goal. Just start right now.
That is a great tip.
It's the truth.
Give us some of your favorite must-follows across social media.
Ooh, okay, this is so embarrassing. I love dogs on Instagram, so Marnie the dog on Instagram. She's so precious.
Give them a little Marnie face.
I love you, Marnie. I follow like crazy weird people on Instagram, like dogs and pizza places. I'm not like a human who follows other humans. I'm a human who follows things.
My cousin once rented Marnie the dog for his fiance at the time.
Stop it. When I get married, I want her to be my officiant.
Or I guess they're still fiance, if you're watching, or girlfriend at the time. Welcome to the family.
She's perfect. She is the epitome of perfection. It's just so cute.
And most importantly, where can the viewers find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jen Glantz or at Bridesmaid for Hire. Email me, jenglantz@gmail.com. Check me out at bridesmaidforhire.com.
This has been fun.
This has been awesome.
If there's any other things you'd like to share with the audience, now is your time.
You've already seen my shoes and my legs and my old book. All my friends are engaged. So check out the new book in spring 2017, Always a Bridesmaid for Hire.
Follow Jen.
Yeah.
Check out the book.
Read it.
And we will see you back again soon.
Cool.
On Distractify Live.
Woo!